Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Lee Evans. And on today's episode, we're going to hear from Matthew Moore, who will tell us about his improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games and most importantly, learn how he improv'd his life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Lee Evans, and today we are joined by the one and only founder of IFTP, Mr. Matthew Moore. Matthew Moore, thank you so much for joining us. How
Michael,
are you doing?
I'm good. I was wondering what you were looking at, and then I realized you're looking at our sign up there.
Yes. Well, Matthew, I am just, it's not fully lit yet. And
no, I know. What's the rule on that?
1 million, just 1 million anything. If that's
anything.
Listens, downloads, subscribers, likes, just accidental presses of the play button.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Absolutely, we'll take it.
We just want 1 million of them.
We want 1 million, and then when we get 1 million, we fix the sign.
Exactly. Just 1 million. I need to be able to open up, the analytics dashboard, and if I can see the number 1 million anywhere on there.
Great.
That's fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll get it done.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're close. We're at like 999,000.
We're getting there.
Well, I might be fudging there a little bit.
That's all right.
Those numbers. But Matthew Moore, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a busy night at Improv for the People.
That's true, it is.
We're doing our recording, and first of all, I'm really happy to be with you on this podcast. I know you've interviewed, over 10 or a dozen Improv for the People.
You are the 13th.
Yeah, lucky 13. Mm-hmm. Lots of Improv for the People. I've enjoyed the podcast. I've learned from the others, and it's been really fun. So yeah, I'm good. So tonight is a night where we have a lot going on in the studio. There are 2 classes going on right now down the hall. Our theater is getting ready for a couple of big holiday shows coming up. So yeah, I'm always, when those things are happening, I'm in a good space.
Things are abuzz here at IFTP. And Matt, just for the listeners at home, who maybe aren't members of the IFTP community, would you just be willing to give yourself just a quick introduction? Tell us your role here at IFTP, maybe how long you've been involved at IFTP.
Okay. Yeah, I've been involved with Improv for the People for 15 years. And I founded Improv for the People, and I am its artistic director. So, and we're on our 15th year. So that's pretty cool. I say that, it may have been my idea to start it. And I bet you're going to ask me why a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll do that. But I will say it takes a village. It was never my studio by any stretch. It's anyone that comes here and works here and trains here and performs here. That's our studio. It's everybody's studio. So, but I'm the artistic director, and I'm pretty happy about Improv for the People, its growth, and its future.
Well said. Well, thank you for that little teaser. We're going to dig into all of that and more in just a little bit.
We're going to dig into, what did you say?
Dig.
D-I-G. So we're going to dig into that.
Oh, no, that's another podcast.
That's a different podcast.
But not on this one.
No, sorry.
Not so far.
Inappropriate.
Well, in a way, it's your podcast, so it's not.
Yeah, no, I only have myself to blame.
All right. Well, before we jump into learning about the beginnings of IFTP and the beginnings of Matthew Moore, the improviser, as always, as is tradition here on Improv for the Podcast, we got to play a little 3 things.
Oh, yes.
So, Matt, as always, with our version of 3 things, it's personal. So these categories have been handcrafted by yours truly. To just, dig into Matthew Moore, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
So here we go. Let's play some 3 things. These are 3 things. Bad restaurants to go on a date.
Like a soup house, a spaghetti only menu place.
2,
and a bar. Hey, we've got barbecue ribs slathered in sauce. Come on in.
3, these are 3 things. Facts about Purdue University.
You did your research.
Boilermakers.
Yep. Main campus, West Lafayette. They have Camp High, throughout the state of Indiana. And the one I went to was Purdue Calumet and Purdue North Central in the northern part of the state. Oh, is that one?
Oh, one. Yeah.
Okay. And then the Boilermaker logo is like this big, beefy guy.
2.
And Purdue has a great engineering school and also a hotel management hospitality school that's good. And that's what I went to Purdue for.
3. These are 3 things. Yeah. Last category, Midwest or Indiana slang.
Oh, okay. Come on. You want some corn? Okay, that's one.
1.
Come with. We always say that. My friends make fun. I say, come with. Nobody says that. What we do?
2.
You want some pop?
3. These are 3 things. Well done. Well done. All right, we're going to dig into that a little bit. Your bad date restaurants, I love the way you answer that question.
Well, I describe the restaurant. Maybe you're looking for names of restaurants.
No, but I love the description is so much better than just like Chili's or, like whatever. Like, because the specificity of the restaurants you described, oh my gosh, it'd be so much worse.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
What if you're having a barbecue sandwich and all went down?
Just ribs. You're like, hand me a napkin, will ya?
It's not a good look.
You're looking at each other. Both your faces are
By the way,
covered in sauce. Yeah.
That could be hot. You just got married, young man.
I did.
Where did you go on your? I know you're interviewing me, but I can't help it. Where did you go on your first date?
Oh wow, our first date. The timeline. It depends on who you ask, me or her. But for me, one of our first dates would have been it was a Texas Tex-Mex kind of breakfast taco place called Home State. So they have like breakfast tacos, chips and queso, that kind of thing.
And she still married you.
She did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, the tacos, man, have eggs and bacon
sounds good.
And cheese. I mean, and then, they got chorizo and all this other good stuff.
All right.
Fair enough. Yeah. And they have some drinks on the menu as well, so that doesn't hurt.
Oh, that's not. I met your wife. She's a lovely woman.
Yeah. See, she still married me, even though I took her to get breakfast tacos.
What do I know?
I'm very lucky. So I didn't take her to a spaghetti-only restaurant or a soup house.
Soup house.
I would go to a soup house, though.
Soup house.
Soup house. Welcome to soup house.
Welcome to soup house. Have a seat. Not there.
Oh, sorry, you wanted a solid meal? Not here.
Not here for the solid meal.
We have chilled and hot soups.
Some what? You have what?
Chilled and hot soups.
Who says chilled?
Me.
Okay. Yeah, that's like gazpacho.
Oh, yeah.
Is that really a soup?
A chilled cucumber soup.
Okay. I don't like that character.
Okay. Well, they got to go back to soup house. They're working a double shift tonight. So.
Busy.
Yeah.
Soup house is busy.
Okay.
All right. Good.
For that second question, there are 2 things I know about Purdue until moments ago.
Yeah.
I knew their mascot was the Boilermakers.
Yeah.
And I knew it was in Indiana.
That's all you knew?
Yes.
So are you a basketball fan? Because sometimes they have a really good basketball team.
I'm not, but I have made a March Madness bracket.
Oh, then you're a fan.
And I bet Purdue was on there.
I don't know.
Yeah. And well, I don't remember either.
I don't. The only thing I respect Purdue a lot, but the only connection I still have with Purdue is they call me for money on occasion. Yeah.
My school started doing that as well, and I was like, "You're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
I still owe you money." So, in a way, I am still giving them money.
Yeah,
it's just a little later.
Yeah.
It is a bit strange how colleges do that. I mean, I get it, but also, really,
it's like I already paid you all this money.
Yeah, wasn't that enough? I went there.
We should do that at Improv for the People. We should call past members and say, would you like to give us some money?
That's a great idea. Hey, you came to one class 6 months ago.
How about giving us some money?
How liquid are you right now?
How liquid are you?
Yeah. We should write that. Someone listening, write that down and just send it to Matt personally.
Yeah, just Venmo Improv. Just send us the cash. We know you work at Soup House.
Yeah. And we know Soup House tips well. They do that 3% service charge on all menu items.
3%.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
Yeah, it's not. But, okay. So Purdue. So thank you for teaching me a few facts about Purdue and that they have a school of hospitality and management.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And you went to that school.
I did indeed.
I'm an avid LinkedIn user.
Did you see that on LinkedIn?
That might have been on Facebook, actually. So I have some exclusive access.
You do your research. I've listened to the podcast, and you dive deep before we even get here.
It's a bit frightening for, I think, all guests.
Yeah, it's like it's a little jarring.
Yeah, I try to be intense and make guests uncomfortable.
Really? So far I'm all right, but this thing could take a turn at any minute.
That's true. Well, we'll get there. Don't worry. We'll pull up some photos from 2012.
No.
Even though this is for the audio listeners, they can't really enjoy that.
Yeah. Good.
All right. So our final category was, of course, Midwest vernacular. And why, may I have asked you about Midwest vernacular?
I grew up in Indiana.
Grew up in Indiana. All right. So you gave me, I had a few in my head that I was hoping you'd say, and you gave me pop, which I was hoping for, because I think pop that's just better than soda.
You like that better?
I do. I think, give me old sody pop.
Well, we don't say sody pop. I mean, this is not 1851.
That's true. Some sarsaparilla.
It's not Birmingham in 1851.
Oh, you're right.
Although that would be a fun place to be, but maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But yeah, we don't say sody pop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just say pop.
Well, you could.
We could. It'd be weird.
It's probably good that you don't, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pop, I love that one. Come with. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah, I got buddies who always say, when I say, hey, we're going out to this bar, come with. And nobody says come with. We do.
Yeah. Why not? I don't think that has to go away.
Yeah, it has to go away.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one piece of Midwest slang that I've heard from a second cousin of mine, who I won't name the state until after.
Okay.
But this slang, let me know if you heard it. If I say, yeah, I'm going to get a drink from the bubbler, do you know what that is?
Yeah, so that sounds Southern to me. Is that a Midwest state you're referring to?
It is. Yeah.
From the bubbler. Okay, so, boy, if I had, are you asking me to guess?
Yeah, sure. I am asking you to guess.
You weren't, but you're being gracious.
I wasn't, but I am now.
Okay. Maybe, Kentucky, but that's not, Kentucky to me is like a southern state.
Yeah, no.
What is it?
Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was born there, raised there, still lives there.
And he says bubbler for
He does say bubbler, yeah, which from other Wisconsinites, a friend of the show, Daryl, I don't think says bubbler. So.
Yeah, it could be just him.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you should put that on all people from Wisconsin.
Well, I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I love to generalize. So.
Okay, good.
All folks from Wisconsin say bubbler.
Okay, great.
Even if you just pass through, you still say it.
You say bubbler.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All right. Well, now you do. So thank you, Matt, for jumping in on those categories for me, the three things. So, we could just continue to play three things the rest of the evening, and I think we'd have a jolly time.
It'd be fun. Our listeners would.
They would. They'd be like, wow, I've heard so many different lists of three from so many categories.
Yeah.
It's like a verbal Scrabble.
We should figure out a way to get people to call in, and then you could do that with our listeners.
That could be fun. I'm a man of the people. I like that idea.
Okay, we'll work on that.
We'll workshop it.
It'll never happen, but fun to talk about.
Yes. Okay, so as you mentioned earlier, Matt, IFTP is entering its 15th year of joy, bringing joy to the world, I would say. That's a seasonal reference as well. And I want to get behind, of course, the origins of IFTP. But before we do that, you are more than just a company. You have a story before IFTP came into existence. And I want to know a little bit about your history with improv and what led you to found IFTP.
Oh.
So,
yeah, I moved to Los Angeles, I think in 97. I think it was like 96 or 97. And I was working with a woman who's a recording artist and a singer-songwriter. And I moved here from Indiana to do that. And then we were always gone on the weekends because she was performing and I'd go with her. And then the first weekend we had free in LA, we pulled out the old LA Weekly newspaper. You're too young. Do you remember the LA Weekly?
I remember newspapers.
Yeah. So there used to be a newspaper called the LA Weekly, and it would have all the events of the city. It was weekly. Yeah. That's why it's called that. And it had all the theater and the sports and the whatever it was. And I opened up the calendar section in the back, dropped my finger because we were looking for something to do our first weekend here, landed it on an improv show. And I'm like, what is that? So we went. And I loved it. I thought, man, I didn't know it was an art form. I'm like, they're making this up. I was going to see improv left and right after that. And I kept talking about it. I was in the hotel business for, many years, over 20 years. And I kept talking about improv to my coworkers, probably to the point where they're like, oh God, he's bringing that up again, right? But then a couple of them approached me and said, hey, you just talk a lot about improv. Why don't you teach us a few of the techniques, right? Because by this time I had started taking classes.
Yeah, because you'd gotten so invested. You're like, I want to do this.
Yeah, I did. And so I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, why don't you just share with what you know? And so I went to New York to see a friend, and I was sitting there having lunch with him in Manhattan, and I told him this. He goes, well, you should do it. And I said, yeah, I think I will. He goes, what are you going to call it? I'm like, well, I believe that improv is great for everyone to study and practice, not just actors. Certainly for actors. I'm one of them, and it's great. You're an actor. It's good for us, for sure. For sure. But it's also great for anyone that wants to improve communication skills and being more engaged with one another and all that good improv-y stuff, right? And I was telling him this, and he says, well, I go to a yoga class called Yoga for the People. Why don't you call it Improv for the People? And it was born on that day in New York, sitting outside having lunch. So I did it, and then I had 2 people show up on a Monday night for a class, and we had a blast. And then the next week were 3 people, and then it was 5 people.
Wow.
And it just kind of kept going. And I told, and I was still working in the hotel, but I'd rush out on Mondays to teach this improv class. I rented a room in the old Venice jail here in LA. Yeah. Wow. Had bars on the window and everything.
Oh, that's fantastic atmosphere for a class.
Yeah, right. And it's an art gallery now. It's called Spark. And they're great people. And anyway, I rented the basement, and we had these classes, and then it filled, and then we opened another night, and then, flash forward, here we are 15 years later. We've grown to the venue we are in now at the Pico Theater in West Los Angeles. And, we have tons of classes every week. We've got 5 faculty members. We have sold out shows with a line of people down the block, and celebrities drop in and play with us. And we do short films, and we do podcasts, and with Michael Lee Evans, right? And we have a sketch course now that you also instruct, and you're very, very good.
Well, thank you.
Yep. And we have, sometimes we do scripted work, not often, but we'll do workshops with scripts to use the techniques of improv to raise the stakes in scripts and make them more emotionally charged and all that. Anyway, there's lots of great stuff going on in the studio.
The growth
is, it's incredible. It's almost, I see growth in this studio almost weekly. It's really mind blowing, right? So anyway, it's a good place to be.
It is. I mean, I'm a fan.
I am too. Did you just look at the sign that we have to fix?
I did.
And you weren't even subtle about it. You craned your little neck over. Your neck's not little.
It's for the YouTube audience. When you started going to those improv shows in the early days, how long did it take before you were like, I want to go from audience member to getting in on the action? What was that transition like?
It was very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Just immediate.
Yeah. When I was sitting in the very first improv show I saw, I was with a friend, and intermission rolled around, and she says to me, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Everyone else is here is dying laughing, and you're just sitting there with your mouth open." That is a real conversation that happened. I'm like, I am blown away that this even exists. And I was putting it all together and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, I thought it was very, very funny, but my mind was like, how did they do this? And I was like, I gotta do this. I have to do this. So I knew something pretty cool was happening.
Yeah. I mean, just immediately, like, I love the fact that you just opened up LA Weekly.
Yeah.
The odds that your finger landed on an improv show.
Michael, I don't even know. Honestly, we wouldn't even be sitting here today had my finger not landed there. Right?
Yeah.
So I guess it was meant to be, but here we are.
It's pretty incredible to think about it. Just shout out LA Weekly. Thank you for having improv
there you go.
That week's edition.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so you see an improv show, jaw on the floor. You pick it up after the show. You continue to see shows. You eventually start taking classes. And I think you had said, you are an actor. Had you done performance or acting prior to getting involved in improv?
Nothing, just in high school or whatever. But
of course.
I don't discount that. That the arts in high school are more important than arts any time in your life, I think, or just as important. So I'm not discounting that. So I did that in high school. I did a little when I was in college. I actually went back to my high school and directed a couple shows.
Wow.
Yeah, but as far as acting, I really didn't pursue acting until I was older. And I kind of, maybe I regret that a little bit. But but I love it. I love dramatic acting. We allow for dramatic acting in the studio. When a scene, an improv scene goes dramatic, we let it go. We don't stop it and say, you got to be funny.
Yeah.
We never do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm drawn to dramatic acting, and I hope there are casting directors and writers and producers listening to this podcast because Daddy needs the work.
Daddy needs the work.
That was gross. Wasn't that weird what I just did?
Wasn't that weird? We all need the work. Daddy needs the work.
Daddy needs the work. That's not going to get me booked on anything.
I don't know. That sounded pretty good. Yeah. Someone might have their headphones on and they get that earful.
Yeah.
It's a good earful.
What if? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's my acting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was curious how those kind of two things coincided, because I think, like you said, improv can be such a helpful tool and skill for actors to have, and it can enrich even scripted work as well, being able to improvise and play within the pages, if you will. So I think it's interesting how those go together. Yeah,
me too. It certainly doesn't hurt for actors to practice improv. Is my mic going on and off? I feel like it did. The other thing is I'm a stand-up comedian, and I find myself using the tools of improv a lot when I do stand-up, a lot. I've had stand-up comics ask me, should I take an improv class? And well, if you're asking me, I think the answer is yes. I don't think the other way around. I don't think improvisers, unless they want to, need to take a stand-up class. I don't know how that would enhance their improv work. Maybe it will. I don't see that. But I think that stand-up comics should definitely take improv classes.
Yeah. And I think from what I'm gathering is that you had, just from this initial moment of discovering and then getting invested in improv, I think led to so many other paths and opportunities for you, right? You did like more dramatic acting work. You've continued to do improv. You started doing stand-up comedy, right? You've tackled all these different facets of performance. You've started your own improv studio. You've been a teacher, a director, a performer, like in so many different areas, a writer.
Yeah.
And I think it's just amazing to see and to kind of get that story, right? To see where you started and where you are now. It's pretty amazing, man.
Oh, well, thanks, Michael. It's I'm really fortunate to get to do what I do and full time. And that's not lost on me. But it's when you surround yourself by talented, driven, good people. I always say, like here at Improv for the People, you put the right person in the right position, right? You are going to have success. Whether it's a member we wouldn't be here without our members. So whether it's a member or a faculty member or the host of the podcast, honestly, the Elton, who does all of our light and sound and set design, and Micah, who owns the theater. I mean, if we get all the right people in the right place, you can do anything.
Yeah,
we have that.
Things can come together.
Yeah.
I definitely agree, and I think hearing that from you, I know that's been like a core part of IFTP's philosophy. I think, just getting the right people in the right places.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Oh man. Okay. So I'm thinking back to those early days. You're in jail in Venice.
Wait, what? Oh yes, our class is in the jail.
And they started, it sounds like you said, it kind of started 2 people and then it started growing. And was this spreading by just word of mouth?
Yeah.
You know, your coworkers or friends were saying like, hey, you know, I went to this class last week in jail. And then that, you know, hooked people because they said, you went to class in jail. And then
Maybe they said
I got to check this out.
Maybe, yeah.
And so those early days, was it just kind of, you were sharing what you had learned in improv, like the basics of improv, yes-anding? Were you sharing those basic principles and concepts?
For sure. And, you know, as we grew as a studio, as things organically grew, we started becoming our own, having our own approach to improv and you know, how we approach the art form. I think that, I don't think this, I know this. So why did it go from 2 members one week and then 3 the next and then to where we are now? Because people crave collaboration with another human being. We crave creativity. We crave engagement with other humans, right? Not to get all weird, but it's like it's on the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? Yeah. We crave community. We crave belongingness. Mm-hmm. And I hope that this is what Improv for the People offers, you know, through an art form that is really, you know, it's not judgmental. It shouldn't be. It's not, you know, you look under our roof right now. If you go to look at the 2 classes down the hall from us right now, you're going to see every type of person under the sun, all getting along, all engaged with one another, all creating with one another, being respectful of each other, being good to one another, laughing with each other. This is the way the world should be.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you land at IFTP and you find that this is a good home for you, amen. That's let's do it. So my point is, there's not a lot of advertising needed to be done. As long as we're doing good work here, then our members are going to share the love.
Let the work speak for itself and let the people share.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, going back to when you were meeting with your friend in that cafe in New York, right?
Yeah.
Like you wanted this to be something that was for everyone, right? For the people, you know, not for improv for just folks over 6 foot or.
That would be a hard sign to make.
That would be.
That'd be a long.
It's just and a marketing nightmare.
Oh, .com. I mean, really, that's a website.
Yeah. And can you think of like the pushback from people like me who are under 6 foot and?
Oh, you would be irate.
Yeah, you might not hear us from up there, but we'd be loud. All right.
I'd hear you.
Yeah.
I would hear. And I also want to say that I don't want to make it sound like IFTP is a walk in the park every day, right? Oh, everything's roses and picnics. We have our share of stuff, but I mean, any studio does or would.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah.
So improv in general, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry, but there are a lot. There's a handful of great improv studios in LA. So
that's true.
When we all handle there's enough room in this city of ours to have all of our improv studios exist and be good for and to one another. And that's it's a good thing.
Very true. So in your journey of founding IFTP and growing it, you know, with these members joining in, finding out and learning and coming to find out what we're all about here, was there a moment for you where you realized like this, like IFTP, this can be something bigger than me just, you know, teaching a class one night a week? Was there a moment where things kind of started to shift and you're like, I'm really building something here? Yeah.
When I would ask, I still do. I ask every single new member, you know, either, you know, I like to ask them a person. Okay. So after their first class or maybe before, whenever I see them early on their journey, I ask them, why do you want to take an improv class? I ask everybody that. Why are you here? Why do you want to take an improv class? And when I did that from the beginning, and the answers are pretty cool. You know, you might think, we know the obvious answers. Oh, I want to be funny. And then we have that conversation. Well, it's not about being funny. And we have that conversation, right? I want to be quick on my feet. Okay, there's a little bit of that goes around, but we talk about that. But then I hear things like, I remember this young man, he was probably very early 20s and really cool guy. And he pulled me aside after his first class. Well, I asked him, I said, why do you want to take an improv class? And he said, he made sure that nobody else was around in the lobby. And he said, well, Matt, I'm I get really nervous around girls, around women, and I'll go out to bars or whatever, and I get nervous around women. I can't even talk to women, and I'm afraid I'm never going to have a date. I'm never going to, connect with a woman because I'm so terrified to talk to them. And he goes, I think this might help me. And I said, I think it might too. So we had this private little knowing of his journey and his path, and he did good work, right? Yeah. And about 3 or 4 months after class, after he's been in Improv for the People, he pulled me aside and he goes, I asked this girl out last night and we're going out on Thursday, so it's stories like that and other stories that made me think this is more impactful than we might think it is. It's more impactful than I thought it would when we started it. I can't believe the light bulbs and the light. I don't want to be grandiose, but the life-changing experiences that happen in our studio. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. Yeah. So it's almost like a life hack, studying improv in a good studio. It's a life hack to communication and engagement, and also in business. It can affect the bottom line. If you're in sales and you're connected and engaged with a customer or client, you have a better chance of closing the deal. So it can affect, when we do corporate trainings, we talk about that a little bit, how it can, affect your finances. So anyway, that's my long answer.
Yeah. I want to go on a tangent for a second because this is something I've always wondered about, and you naturally brought it up. So with corporate trainings, I know that's something IFTP does as a studio. Yeah. Could you walk me through maybe what a typical corporate training session or weekend looks like?
Yeah. Well, I won't give details I won't be too specific.
Sure, of course.
But I'll speak in general. I like to ask the people that are in the room, because first of all, their boss made them be there.
Yes.
Okay. And, and 90% of the time they have a great attitude. They're like, okay, let's do this. Sounds like fun. There are people who are terrified of this. I'm not funny. I'm not an actor. Yeah, why did my boss make me take this? I'm terrified. So the number one thing is to put them at ease, and I ask them, who's nervous? And they'll let you know. Yeah. And so I calm them. I try to calm their fears a little bit by saying, listen, today is not about being funny or being an actor. It's just about being yourself and honing some communication skills. And then we go on to the curriculum that IFTP offers. But it's really fun to see people in a corporate environment in suits and ties often and skirts and all that, just tackling this art form and getting some of the fun tools under their belt. But by the time the workshop is over, almost always the nervous people were in it to win it. They really enjoyed it and got some takeaways as, they were there to learn. So
yeah. Wow. That's so interesting. Yeah, because it's something I've always heard about, and I have ideas in my head, but I've never actually known.
About the corporate training aspect?
Yeah, just corporate training. Yeah. Because I think it's, something I think could be incredibly helpful. And like you said, maybe some people who are shy can really help them open up, connect with their coworkers, and just so many benefits, that we can't even always realize ahead of time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's funny because it's not a really, we don't even do it. We don't do cold calls, like call companies and say, hi, my name is Matt. Would you like to take an improv team builder? They're like, no. No.
Let me transfer you to someone.
Yeah, right. But if there's someone in the team, if there's someone at the company or the corporation who is in the know of the benefits of improv, and they reach out to us, we're going to work together. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to work together. By the way, NPR and New York Times Magazine just had a great separate articles about the benefits of they're not the first to write these things, but they have new articles on the benefits of studying improv, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. I'll have to check those out.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed they didn't reach out to us for comment, but
yeah, I'm not too pleased with either one of those half-ass organizations.
Those articles don't sound as well written as they could have been.
Who did though was the Atlantic.
Oh, good. I like the Atlantic.
Years ago.
Okay, good.
They wrote an article on us.
Okay, good. Well, I guess I only have one news publication source I will be reading from now on.
Yeah, exactly right. New York Times who? NPR who? What does NPR stand for?
Not per reading standards.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not, there's an S on that. Would you just
no point reading. There it is. There it is. No point reading.
No point. We're kidding. We love NPR.
Yeah. It's publicly funded. I don't know how it works, but I think they're generally good. Yeah.
Do you know how the soup house works?
No, it's really dark. This is really shady.
Really weird things going on at the soup house.
Some ties to Enron going
What?
back. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's not good, man.
Okay.
It's bad. So yeah, stay away from your local soup house.
Soup house.
I know they're a nationwide chain.
Yeah.
And it's like the per capita amount of soup house stores is frightening.
Wow.
It's on par with Starbucks. Anyway. Yeah, soup house. Down with soup house. Yeah,
we're going to milk that soup house.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm more of a chowder man anyway.
Don't ever say the phrase, I'm more of a chowder man anyway.
Oh, okay.
You're probably the first human being to ever say the sentence, I'm more of a chowder guy anyway.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of Bostonians may disagree.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they like their chowder in Boston.
That's true. That's true. Some wicked chowder. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I see. So yeah, they might say that because they like chowder.
Yeah,
okay. Well, maybe.
I have no ties to Boston, but
you said wicked chowder like you were born and raised there.
I've watched a lot of Good Will Hunting. Right. Okay. So honing back in on improv, right? Improv for the people and its growth over the years, its change and its development into the studio that it is today.
Yes.
You had mentioned earlier that, working here at IFTP and running this whole thing, right? This studio, its classes, its members, bringing people in, right? Corporate trainings, all of that. When was the time that you knew that you could make the jump to running and doing IFTP full time?
I'm still wondering when. Yeah, no, I'm being silly. I left the hotel biz. I don't know, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
8 years ago.
You made the change.
Very scary.
Yeah,
very scary. But the one thing that I get a lot from improv practicing and also teaching it, but performing it and all that stuff. One thing that's done for me is made me more of a risk taker, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but do you find that for yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we're taking risks left and right.
Try a lot more than I used to.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely. Me too. Yeah, me too. So I called my dad when I was thinking about, creating the studio as a full-time endeavor. And here's this guy in Indiana that, I went to school for hotel administration and was in it for many, many years. And he says, and by the way, I was number 2. I was like the director of operations at a
oh my gosh
fancy hotel in LA. And he says, give the company 30 days, give them a month's notice, and go do your thing.
Wow.
So I did, and I didn't wake up every morning like, oh, this is easy. It's hard. It's a lot of work. And anyone that's listening or watching, that's an entrepreneur, or has a small business. The highs are high and the lows are low. So, but I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't regret any of that. I made the right decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think so too.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a huge leap to take, a leap of faith. And I think I love that your dad gave you that advice. And, it was like, hey, be respectful to the company you're with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Do your thing. If you feel the time is right, the time is right.
Yeah.
And you made the move.
Yeah.
Which is, I imagine that 30 days must have been exciting and scary.
It is sometimes still scary. Did you ever see the Joan Rivers documentary?
No.
You should watch that. Okay. And it's really, really good. And listeners who have seen it, they might agree with me that it's very well done. There's a part of that documentary that sticks with me when she looks at her calendar. She looks like a few months ahead. She turns the page and they're blank, or the weekend is blank.
Yeah.
And she points at it and she says, this is what scares me. This having no booking, this is Joan Rivers.
Yeah, okay. She can do whatever she wants.
She can do whatever she wants. Yeah. She's just a legend. And she goes, Dad, this scares me. I don't have a booking that weekend. So there's still that, be mindful of enrollments and shows and tickets. And there's all that business stuff, but it all works out.
Yeah, it does. But yeah. You made that jump and you were like, you know what? We're doing this IFTP thing full time. And when you started, what what was your vision, do you think, for the studio? Or did you even have a vision? Or was it just like, I like improv, I want to share it with everyone that I can? You know, was that the thought?
No, I think that when we started, I was, I just wanted 10. I thought, it'd be great to have 10 people just for the dynamic of a class.
Yes.
You know, an improv class with 2 people, that's challenging.
It's intimate. Yeah.
It's intimate. That's a good word. Yeah. And an improv class with 20 is too many.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can we get, and our classes here at IFTP land at about 12, 13. That feels right. But anyway, in the early days, it's like, are there 10 people interested in this art form? Can I find them? And boy, was I wrong. You know, they are interested in it. You know, it's just, I always tell myself, well, if we found 10, we live in LA.
Yeah.
We didn't find the 10. I'm not that good. Yeah. I don't have the ability to find the 10 people in LA who like improv. So if there's 10, there's going to be 100. And if there's 100, there's 1,000. And, you know, not that we aren't the biggest improv studio in LA. I don't know that we ever need to be, but it's, but the demand for good improv classes is definitely out there. Yeah. So when we first started, I was just trying to see, I didn't know that. So
yeah. And I think over the years, having talked to a number of people who have been here, you know, for different amounts of time, like I think of someone like myself who just, you know, kind of found something on the internet and showed up.
Is that how you found us?
Yeah. Well, just I found Improv for the People and Cool Beans Comedy around the same time. And
Cool Beans is great. Cool Beans is a great stand-up course in LA with Corey Martin Craig. He does a great job. Right. I think Cool Beans is also about 15 because I think we started about the same time. And
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so I interrupted you. Yeah, so you found both of us.
Yeah. Well, and I remember I came to audit, I think it was a Cool Beans class, and you were there.
I remember.
I met you.
Yep.
And you told me about Improv for the People.
Yep.
And I talked to you, and I spoke with Daryl as well.
Right.
He was there that day.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, well, because I had been looking for improv specifically, but hadn't found anything that was in person at that time because it was during the
C
harsh,
word.
Yeah.
The C word is a new C word now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That time where things were pretty intense, and you spoke to me and mentioned, you know, you told me about Improv for the People, you told me about the website, and I just went and found that out, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I found a random class on Google, showed up, I found this improv studio, and that did it for me. I was like, I'm in. I'm going.
That's awesome. And you found a great stand-up class too with Cool Beans.
I did. Yeah, I did that a few months later as well.
I remember.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a successful day for both studios, I guess.
It was. Yeah, we got Michael Lee Evans to swing on through.
Yeah. Oh, that sounded really cocky. That's not what I meant.
Well, it is what you meant.
Okay. So I wanted to ask Matt, and it's kind of a big question. What do you think sets Improv for the People as a studio apart, or what makes it different than some of the other studios in LA? Because like you said, I believe that there is room for many studios in LA, like you said, but I think the reason there is room is because studios can offer different things that you can't find at other improv studios.
Well, I can't honestly speak about the other. It'd be unfair for me to speak about the other studios other than knowing that they're obviously doing good work. I go to their show, they're doing good work.
Yeah.
And that's really, really fun. But I do know some things, some ways we are different. Our membership structure is different. We are month to month, like a gym membership. I think we're the only ones that do that.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's cool. That works for some people. And then the vast majority of our members stay not just for months, but for years.
Yeah.
A big majority would stay around here a long time. So that membership structure is a little different. We have a very organic approach to levels. We don't have Improv 101 for 6 weeks, and then it's Improv 2. And that's fine. That works. It's a great tried and true method. It works. But it's just not who we are. So we're a little bit different that way. We don't, we welcome, we're not just actors. We have our fair share of actors in our studio. And so that's amazing. We have big chunk of our membership is non-actors, tech people, salespeople, doctors, lawyers, scientists, whatever. And that's, and they come here to, like we talked about earlier, and I say this because they told me this, that they come here to brush up their communication skills for their careers. And some come just to improve their relationship skills with maybe, the gender they're interested in and whatever else, their personal skills. So, and we allow that. We love that. And
we're not going to turn you away.
We're not going to turn you away. And not suggesting the other studios turn anybody away either. But, we just have I think the way we approach membership in the organic way, we do have levels. We do have, I want to work toward getting into this class. I want to work into getting in this class. I want to work toward getting into that show. I want to. Also, we don't have teams. I know a lot of improv studios have teams.
Yes.
Great. Go for it. We don't do it. And so I think a lot of the skeleton of Improv for the People looks a little different than the other studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that forming that skeleton to be how it is here? Like you said, that month-to-month structure, the more organic levels within classes. Was that something that, I guess that was your idea, right? To make that happen and to kind of have
I think even
different
that
structure.
Yeah, I think even that organically was born.
Yeah.
Right? It just kind of happened and it kind of worked.
So it was like, let's keep doing this.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Let's just keep doing it that way. And it's great. It works, So, and then we have members who say, hey, they'll come to me or they'll come to you or Ava or Jamie or Benjamin and they'll say, I feel like I'm ready for a new challenge. I want to study more character work. I want to do, more high stakes scenes or whatever their desire is. Then we have that conversation with them and say, well, let's do that. Next month, let's move you to this class. And because we have to stay 3 steps, I would say we want to stay 3 steps ahead of the members. And that's true for the member whose first class is tonight, right down the hall right now, and the member who's been here 15 years. And we do have people who have been here 15 years.
Wow.
Wow. Can you imagine? I think there's maybe 3 of them still.
That's amazing.
I know. And
they got out of jail.
They got out of jail, and we've actually duct taped them to the wall so they can't leave.
Yeah, so that amount of years is just going to keep going up.
It's going to keep going up. That might be illegal in California to do what we're doing. Taping our members to the wall so they can't leave.
Not if they can't be found.
Very, very good point.
I'm skimming of the law. Some light skimming.
You've done some light skimming of the law.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, similar to my knowledge of Joan Rivers' career, I've done the same with the law.
Yeah, and a chowder man. You're a chowder man.
Yeah. I sure am.
You're a chowder man yourself.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why is that funny?
I don't know.
All right.
But it's good to be one. All right. But yes, I definitely agree, and I like the idea that much like so many things about the studio, right? They came about organically. Your level structure, your class structure, just these things that do set it apart. That maybe you didn't set out to be like, I'm going to be different than everyone else here. You just found what you liked and what worked.
Yeah,
and that became what it is now.
Yeah,
and I think that's fascinating because I know that was something for me I appreciated and I noticed as I started here. I was like, I don't sign up for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of anything like that. And I've done a number of improv places around town, and I was just I was very curious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because of that, the study of and the performance of improv is and always will be the number one priority of this studio.
Of course.
Always.
Yeah.
What has happened because of the month-to-month structure and people stay for years is there's a connection between our members that is profound.
Yeah.
That's a big word, and I'm going to use it. It's profound. We've had one marriage. We've had 2 of our members get married. They have a child now. Did they name the child Matthew? No, they didn't. And that's okay. I'm not upset about it.
Did they name the child Improv?
The child's name is Improv.
Beautiful. What a beautiful name.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Improv. So when you come week after week after week after month after month after year, and then you share the stage with there is a bond. There's a bond that is created that is really unlike anywhere else. And even I think a lot of that has to do with the art form that we're practicing together, because we always have each other's backs, right?
Yes.
We always have. Like if you and I are in a scene and, I make a choice that's difficult to deal with, I know you're going to have my back. We're going to make it work, or at least we're going to go down trying.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. We're in it together.
We're in it together. And I always like to use the analogy we're talking about in class last Saturday about, all of us, I envision all of us falling down a hill together as improvisers. We're all falling down a hill. Okay. I'm talking when we're doing scenes together. We're all falling down this hill, and all the while we're catching each other, making each other safe. But the momentum is still going, and we're catching each other, making each other safe. Yeah. We want to land at the bottom of the hill in one piece. That's the goal, right? And when we do that, of course there's going to be trust that's developed. There's going to be, respect, and you've got my back. And I might even be so bold as to say love. I think there's a lot of love that can sound really trite, and like this is a Hallmark movie, and it isn't. It just happens.
Yeah.
Do you experience that?
Yeah. Well, because I think inherently, like, to be successful in improv, you have to love the other person, demonstrate love to them.
Yeah.
Because, you're caring for that other person on stage. Like you said, you're falling down a hill together. You're trying to help them so they don't get hurt.
Right.
Yeah. You go down the hill together.
Right.
So it's love based.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. I think that should be a bumper sticker. Let's fall down the hill together. Ooh. IFTP.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything. Nobody's going to like that. That's not going to, nobody's going to enjoy that bumper sticker.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Do you think?
I might slap it on the bumper. Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. All right. We'll workshop some bumper stickers.
Okay. Great.
Improv for the people. Have your baby here.
No, okay. Because then we get into medical insurance, and I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. Improv for the people. Find your lover.
Maybe. I don't know. Now we're competing with Tinder.
True.
Yeah. By the way, don't you think it's a great place to meet somebody is when you take an improv class?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because, a class environment, because I think getting back into a class environment is helpful, because as soon as, if people go to college, like you graduate high school, you graduate college or whatever, you lose that academic environment, which is where most people meet people while they're there.
Yeah. Right.
And as soon as you graduate, you leave that space, meeting anyone becomes a lot harder. It's either through your job.
Yeah.
Or through the internet, essentially, these days. Right. So going to take a class is an opportunity to get in a room with people you might not normally be around.
100%.
Yeah, because they're not your coworkers.
Right. Well, there's that whole theory
all over.
Yeah, there's that whole theory about third place. You ever heard about third place?
No.
I think it's a Starbucks. I think maybe Starbucks. I know it's a Starbucks like core value or whatever. But you've heard this?
Like, I have heard this.
Like your home is your first place, your work is your second place, and
That's
Starbucks, we want to be your third place.
I remember that. I watched like a documentary or something.
Yeah. You did? You watched a documentary on that?
Yeah, because I remember hearing that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's both scary and like genius.
Yes, right. Yeah. Exactly. So maybe IFTP is a bit of a third place. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Michael. At the end of the day, what do we really know?
Yeah. That's true. We know what we don't know.
Do we?
No, we don't. That's why we don't know.
We just got meta.
Yeah.
This podcast just got meta.
Yeah. Okay. Meta. Wow. Yeah. Because we're third place.
Because we're in our third place.
Yeah. We're in third place. Wow. We got to start saying that. Improv for the people. Find your third place.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I want that on my desk by Tuesday.
Okay.
I can make it happen.
Okay. I have some crayons in the back. I'll get to drawing.
Okay. No.
I'll sketch it up.
Just stick with the podcast and sketch.
You're
and
right.
improv.
Yeah. That's a bit more my wheelhouse than artistic work in that way. Yeah. Or graphic design.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So I got a couple more questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
And then we're going to play some games.
Okay.
We're going to play some games because that's why we're here. The people are out there and they want some improv. So we'll give it to them in a little bit. But before we do, a few things I'm curious about. And looking back on your time both as an improv audience member, performer, an educator of improv, what do you think, or how would you describe improv's impact on your life? It both means within IFTP, outside of IFTP.
Within IFTP, it's a lot of what we've discussed already. And, as a business owner, I'm really proud to be part of this endeavor. So that's cool as a career, and I know I act and I do stand up and all that, and all that's great. And I want to do more of it, but this is definitely a big part of my career. Personally, how it has affected me. Improv is the great humanizer. I see success stories at IFTP that are very moving, right? So to have an improviser do her first show and crush it, just look at her face. I mean, that's so beautiful. To have an improviser, do his first class and make the room laugh, right? And that's amazing.
Yeah, uplifting.
It's uplifting. Having a member who signs up absolutely terrified to walk through our front doors because they've never done anything like this before. And they know they're going to be around people, and they're going to have to speak in front of people and create in front of people. And they feel like they're going to be judged. And I get it. Okay. And then they do it, and they utter the first words, and it is accepted. Their idea is accepted by their scene partner. And then the moment moves forward from there. That's beautiful, right? That is a success story. I'm so fulfilled and moved by the humanity of this place. If we're lucky, we're here 100 years.
Yeah.
If we can find a way to connect and enjoy one another on a Tuesday night or a Saturday morning, whatever it is, I think that is moving the needle of humanity in the right direction. That's good. That's good. Like I said earlier, I'm going to say it again. We look under the roof of IFTP and you look in, and what do we have? What do we see? We see white people, black people, Asian people, every kind of people under the sun, Christians, Jews, Muslims, people, atheists, every Buddhist. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People who are from LA, people who just moved here from Europe, people who people who gay, people, straight people, the whole list, whole list of humanity. Yeah. And we're all under one roof. And we're collaborating and celebrating one another. This is good. This is good. This is the arts will heal this world. Don't you think that? The arts will heal this world. Okay? So if we can put just a tiny little scratch and make our contributions to that endeavor at Improv for the People, sign me up. Sign me up. I don't have a big house in the Hollywood Hills. I don't have that. I got a great car. I have a really nice car.
That's good.
But I also have a rent-controlled apartment, for which I'm very grateful. My point.
That's also good. Yeah.
It is good. You're right. But you get my point.
Control.
Yeah, I know. I love the rent. But that's you get my point, right?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. If all world leaders would take an improv class together, wars would stop. I mean, I'm a little much right now. I'm talking too much. I'm being a little much right now, but I do believe what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta have to say, I also believe what you believe.
Good. I know you do. Yeah. That's why you're sitting in this chair.
That's true.
I know you do. I see that in you.
Yeah.
Right? I can't forgive you for saying the phrase chowder house. Or pardon me. I'm a chowder man.
That's fair.
I will never forgive you, Michael, for saying I'm more of a chowder man.
Yeah. I am what I am, Matt.
You are what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get all worked up, Michael, and I just had a little moment, but here we are.
Yeah. I would say I think it would be fascinating to watch Joe Biden and like Emmanuel Macron like just get up on stage and like, can we get a 1-word suggestion?
Honestly, wouldn't that be fun?
But they'd work together, and there's some other world leaders who I don't want to mention for a number of reasons, but those were just 2 I thought of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they work together now as is, but there are some we'd like to throw in that pot.
Yeah. That might be helpful for them. Yeah. And I think if I think about it, and like you said, my experience being in, like you said, the arts can heal or change the world. Like I think about my experience in any sort of art class or scenario, like it's always been able to be a gathering of people who are different from one another.
Yeah.
And that wasn't an issue.
Yeah. Right.
But I can think of other places I've been where it feels like it would be.
Yeah. Oh, I can too.
And that doesn't seem right.
This is not the podcast for the ideas that just ran through my head, but I will just say, I'll put it this way. I have been a part of organizations that I thought accepted me. And as a child and a young person, a teen and a young adult. And then it dawned on me, this organization hates me because I'm gay, right? For example, this organization does not care for me, as it turns out. And, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of an organization that teaches who not to care for.
Yeah.
And who not. This is way off of an improv podcast, isn't it? But is it? Maybe it isn't, right?
I think it is.
Yeah. So I hope that we offer that landing place for everybody here at this studio.
I mean, because improv, you're welcoming the other person and building something with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not saying, "Oh, not you." You're saying, "You come here. We're going to make something."
Yeah. Right. No, I've right, Michael. There have been times where it's not the right. It's only a handful of times in 15 years. I'm literally 5 or less where we've had to say, "Hey, maybe this is not the place for you."
Yeah.
Right. But that's a whole different issue. But by and large, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's always our goal here. Yeah. To be have an environment that fosters creativity and collaboration, all that good stuff.
Well said, Matt. Well said.
Hey, thanks. I just got that got a little deep, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we do this.
Okay. Right. How do I look, by the way? These lights getting everything right?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You're well lit. Okay. Well groomed. It's a fine Oxford shirt that you're wearing.
This is my Zoom shirt. I wear this shirt all the time when I have to do a Zoom.
That's smart. That's good to have a Zoom shirt.
Yeah. Is that your Zoom sweater?
I did have to give a presentation at work today, so it was good to have this on, and it was on Zoom. So yeah,
that's your Zoom sweater.
Yeah, so
that's your ZS. Yes,
and I did do a lot of teaching in the Zoom sweater on Zoom as well. So
today you did?
Just over the years that I've had it.
That's a good sweater.
It's been with me through a lot of Zoom events.
I love that we went from profound talk of changing the world to, is that your Zoom sweater?
Is that your Zoom shirt? Yeah. Well, it's good to have range, Matt. All right. My final question for you, Matt, and this goes for both you, Matthew Moore, the professional, the comedian, the writer, the improviser, the actor, the man, the human, but also Improv for the People, the studio.
Okay.
Right. You as the founder. What hopes or what goals do you have both for you personally and as well as IFTP, the studio, looking ahead? You can get as personal as you want or keep it vague. It's up to you.
Oh,
there's no wrong answer.
Okay. IFTP is so entwined with my life that any answer I give is probably going to be personal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see. I want to see the studio always grow, but again, we don't need to be the biggest numbers wise, but keep organically growing. Okay, slow and steady. I always say in business, slow and steady, slow and steady. So I want to keep that up. Okay, I'd like to see more shows. We do our fair share of shows, but they're not weekly. And I really want to see weekly shows at IFTP. We do them about monthly now.
Yeah,
they average about monthly. I want weekly. If not to start, then I want every Friday and Saturday. Okay, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But we are getting close to maybe in the next year or so being weekly. Yeah, that's one goal.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, and I think that applies for both you, the performer, and you, the founder, right?
Well, yeah, but also because the talent in our studio deserves stage time.
Yeah, yeah.
They deserve it. They're working their ass off. So
there's so many talented folks in this place.
Yeah. So that's my answer to that question.
I like that. I think that is a really cool goal.
Cool.
You know, we should talk about that off air sometime.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it off air. We'll make it happen.
Okay. All right, Matt. Well, thank you for sharing a bit about your improv history, right? Your start from humble origins in LA Weekly magazine, your growth from avid fan to performer to founder, right? Some of how the studio has changed over the years and grown and kind of organically shaped into what it is today, and just talking about your philosophy and why improv matters, why arts matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't know that that any of that would come up tonight. So.
I didn't either.
So thanks, Michael, for the good, honest talk.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Yeah. So now, the moment, the Chowder Man has got some games for us. I did say it one more time.
Nicely, not to say Chowder Man.
See, hearing it makes me want to say it more.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
Like this is going to stick with me for like the next week, and
like a good chowder should.
My poor wife will be like, "Please stop calling yourself the Chowder Man."
And your wife of what? 2 weeks?
We've entered week 3.
You're in week 3.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up right now.
Yeah, that's true. I should keep Chowder out of this. Yeah, things are good. I don't want to mess them up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that advice.
Sure.
All right, Matt. So the first game that we're going to be playing here today on Improv for the podcast is called Nightmare Audition. And lo and behold, you didn't know that you've actually come here to audition for me for something.
Sit up straight.
You should. You've got a huge audition tonight for a big project that I wrote, I'm directing, I'm producing, I'm casting.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very involved in the creative process for this project.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And you've been called here tonight because you're going to read for me. You're going to read with me, actually, a couple of scenes because I am planning to star in this project. This
you're in it as well?
Well, I'm a very ambitious director.
Wow.
I'm sort of like a Tarantino, DiCaprio.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe a little bit of Scorsese, Rivers kind of hybrid performer, kind of Renaissance Chowder Man, if you will.
That's 4 times.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to have you coming in to read with us tonight. So actually, earlier this evening to prepare you for this audition, I did text you a photo of the sides.
Oh, you want me to get that?
Yes, me and my production company, Chowderman Productions. We don't believe in printing out our sides on paper because it's bad for the planet.
Bad for the planet.
That's why we texted you a picture.
Yeah, so I got to put my specs on.
Of course.
Oh, it's weird with
an actor prepares.
Okay.
What is that, Stanislavski? Yeah.
I don't know.
Or is that Uta Hagen? It's both.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't show off.
All right. Well, as our actor prepares, our actor Matthew Moore, who we brought in tonight, we saw a couple of headshots. We looked at a resume, and we found a stand-up reel online. We wanted to bring you in tonight to read for this feature film, which is called Time.
It's called Time?
It's called Time. That's our working title right now. Wow. And this is a scene I've been slaving over. And why I wanted to bring you in tonight to read with me is because we're still trying to find the tone and genre of this project.
I hope we find it.
Yes. Well, and that's why I brought you in, because I've heard you as a performer have quite a bit of range.
I've got range.
Both in drama and comedy. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'd like to read with you tonight. So we're going to run the scene maybe a couple of times. Just to kind of,
at least.
Yeah. It's good to put my words in your mouth.
Pardon you? Okay.
Yep. So, for this first time we're going to go through this scene,
Now keep in mind, this is the first time I'm seeing this. So
well, exactly. It's your raw talent and your spontaneity, which I've heard about. That's why I brought you in, being the director, the caster,
we got the whole thing.
Producer,
Productions, we get it.
Writer, the star. For this film, Time.
No, we've mentioned all of that. Let's move on.
So for this first take, I think I'd like to go with something like a romantic comedy.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
So you and I were in a romantic comedy. That's how we're going to do this scene. And I would love for you to play A.
Okay.
The names are very, they're very basic right now, but this project is evolving.
It's evolving, yeah. I sure hope it does. It's almost mean,
It's
wasn't
bold
it?
in this first audition, isn't it?
So the listeners and the viewers know there's A and B. These are the character names, just A and B.
These are the character names. The script is sort of it's always evolving. It changes every day. But this scene is locked in. This will be in the final cut of the film.
This one's locked in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And I went to Yale School of Drama for playwriting, so I'm very good.
No.
Very good.
What city is Yale in?
Connecticut City, Connecticut.
Yep. I guess you did go there.
Yeah. Well, trust me. If there's anything I know, it's geography and writing and directing and acting.
I know, and Chowderhouse
and producing. Yeah, Chowderhouse Productions. Thank you. All right. So you'll be playing person A. Okay. I, of course, will be playing person B. And even though I'm the letter B, I'm still the star.
You've made that clear.
Okay. Right. And we're going to take this in a romantic comedy.
All right, great. You ready?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everything?
Fine, I guess.
I'm sorry, do you know what time it is?
No, not exactly.
Did you have a watch?
Oh, not on me.
Well,
what?
What did you do last night?
What do you mean?
What did you do last night?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I said nothing.
I'm sorry I asked.
It's all right. All right. Cut.
Oh my gosh, that was good.
Yeah, I think I did like that, but I do want to try a couple of other things. I did really enjoy, and I felt some chemistry there. So I think we've really got something,
Okay.
Matthew, I'm glad you're here reading with us.
Thank you.
I'd like to try this maybe as something more, this is going to be more like a horror film. You've seen The Conjuring, slasher, horror, real spooky. That's what the kids are into these days.
That's
and
what the kids like.
I know I've got my finger on the pulse and my other finger in the chowder. And
I swear to God, one more, Lee Evans, and I will rip that headset off your head, and I'll sit in that chair and take over. You want to do this?
Still in this romantic comedy scene.
Oh, shit.
All right. Well, we're going to read this in the horror genre.
Okay.
Take 2. Let's just try it again. And again, I am recording this, so we'll watch it back, and then let you. We'll speak with your agent to let you know about casting.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So here we go. Same scene.
Right.
Whenever you're ready.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everything?
It's fine, I guess.
Do you know what time it is?
No.
Don't you have a watch?
No, not on me.
Well,
what
did you do last night?
What do you mean?
What did you do last night?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I said nothing.
I said I'm sorry I asked.
It's all right. Cut. Okay, that was
I felt like I made choices.
thrilling. A little bit of pee came out.
Did you just pee yourself?
I love an actor that makes choices. When I bring you in the room.
Right.
So thank you for making choices.
You're
Matthew
welcome.
Moore. I'm going to ask you to make one more choice.
Okay.
Because I think this is a genre this should be.
Okay.
I was wrong with the first 2. I'm thinking about it in my head. Everything's very fluid. I'm a very smart guy. So I think this is going to be it. This is going to be like a period piece. I'm thinking, Victorian era England.
Right.
I love that time period.
Okay.
So I think that's where this project is meant to be.
Well, we'll see.
All right. So yes, take it away whenever you're ready.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
How's everything?
It's fine, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Hey, do you know what time it is?
No. Well, not exactly, no.
Don't you have a watch?
Oh, man.
Well,
What?
tell me. What did you do last night?
What do you mean?
What did you do last night?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I said nothing.
Well, I'm sorry I asked.
SWAT? Blackout.
Oh. I mean, Hugh Grant, who? Thank you.
Don't need him. Don't need him. Catch him in the unemployment line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Hugh Grant, more like
Hugh Dant.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
Who didn't? Hugh did.
More like Hugh didn't.
Hugh didn't say that. Oh no.
I did. Hugh Grant me another friend. What? That didn't make sense.
There it is.
Well,
All right.
I don't know.
Well, thank you for coming out. I know the director texted me. He said he really enjoyed your performance, and he'll be in touch soon.
Good. I need the work.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm a bit jealous that you got to do that.
Oh.
All right.
Are we doing it again?
Oh no, we're gonna do another game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, we play 3 games here.
Oh, we do? Gosh, how long is this podcast?
Well,
it's like 4 days long.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the minutes. It's all about the minutes, Matt.
Great.
Yeah, I'm a minute man. All right, but these next games will be a little quicker than that last one.
Okay.
Yeah, we really milk that just because of the quality of the writing.
Well, we're acting.
Yes, we are, and an actor prepares. Okay. So this next game, Matt, that we're going to play is called Animal Influence.
Okay.
Animal Influence. And in this game, both players, we're going to receive a type of animal that I selected hours ago from a random animal generator. And we are going to be...
you couldn't think of animals on your own. You had to go to the computer. This is a problem with millennials. Are you a millennial? I think you are.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Just think of animals. Just think of us right now. No. I win your generator. Okay, let's play your silly game.
You're going to love our next 2 games then.
All right. There's nothing silly about any of this. I love it.
Okay, lots of generators. I'm a big fan of generators.
Well,
and
all right.
I'll tell you what, I'll defend millennials because, I'm coming up with a lot of games on a weekly basis.
Fair.
I need some generators.
That's fair. No, I respect millennials.
It didn't start that way, but we are 13 weeks in.
Yeah, no, you're trying to find content left and right.
I've done 39 podcast games.
Oh my Lord.
And none have been the same.
Are you serious?
Never repeated.
Yeah, the ones I've listened, the ones I've heard so far have been different.
So I will. You're all right. Well, maybe my generation is a little overly reliant on generators, but I will excuse myself.
You get a pass. Fair enough.
I'll take it.
Right.
Little did he know. No, I don't know. All right. So animal influences, Matt.
Yes.
We're just going to do an improv scene, and we are going to let whatever this animal is kind of influence our behavior.
Okay. Great.
So your animal, Matt, is an owl.
Okay.
I am a horse.
Okay.
Other than that, we'll do our scene, and I'll black us out when I think we're done.
All right. Do we get anything or just cold spot it?
Just cold spot it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so chilly out. I wish we had something warm to eat for dinner.
Well, I wish we did too, but who was supposed to get the groceries?
Nay, not I.
My head turns and looks at who? You.
But Carl, it was your turn to stop by Ralph's after work.
Well, Ed, you know that I was busy. I was busy high in the trees with my lumber project.
Well, hey, look at me. It's not all about your lumber project. This relationship, you got to think about us. It's not just me. It's not just you. It is us. I got to be your main focus, right?
Well, I hope you can sense that I have my 2 large eyes on you right now, and I'm very focused on you. You see that, right? Who wouldn't?
You're right. I do see that. And, for each of us, we have to take turns taking the lead in this relationship. Who does what for dinner? Sometimes I'll wear the saddle and you'll ride me, and sometimes we'll switch.
I think that you've crossed the line with that last comment. I find it very inappropriate. Who do I find inappropriate? Ed.
Me.
I find Ed inappropriate.
Me. Yeah, Ed. Mr. Ed. That's what they call me. Yeah, perhaps I should have taken the reins on dinner tonight.
Well, perhaps you should. If you need me because you've upset me, I'm going to the library.
Duels. I think they go, I'm going to the library. Who's going to the library?
You, Carl. You're going to the library.
I'm going to the library.
And I just want to say I'm sorry for getting spooked about dinner. I can be very sensitive and when things don't go how I expect. But, I know the project you have in work, your lumber project, is important. And, I can step up and maybe carry you a little bit more.
Well,
until the project's done.
I don't want to bring this up about my project, but I'm getting close to the lumber project being finished. And all I need is more glue. So if you don't behave, who's going to provide the glue?
Blackout!
Yay.
Oh, man. That was fun.
Did you get what I did there with the who?
I did.
Because I will say who a lot.
What?
I know. And I see what you did with the horse stuff.
Yeah, I was going for more horse puns. Well, I started off with a...
Yeah, well, you just went for it.
I guess I could have done that more, but...
Oh, yeah, you could have.
Well, let's do it again now.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No, we don't do that here. We just do it once. And
one and done. That's what we say at IFTP. Burn one and done. We burn it, we're done.
One take wonder.
That's right.
One take wonder. All right, Matthew Moore.
Yes.
For this final game, I picked this game and kind of, formed it because I think of this as something that you're so good at, and that when I see you perform improv, I love when you do a scene where you're on a date.
Do I do a lot of those?
You've done a few. But I've also had the pleasure and the privilege of getting to work with you a lot and see you perform a lot. So I know this is a scene that I think is a specialty for you.
Okay.
And that I very much enjoy, both being in scenes like this with you and watching.
Are we going on a date?
We are. So this game is called Internet Dating. And
yeah, I love this one.
You and I are on a date, but it's a twist in that anything I say, it's not written by me, it's written by the internet.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Tell me this. You're going to have a script per se?
Yes.
And then I'm just going to have to justify how we...
You are, but we're on a date.
Ah, okay. All right.
And I don't even know what I'm going to say until I press this button and it pops up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This date is running on a generator.
What does that mean?
Because I'm using a generator.
Because you're using a little generator.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said you're going to love our next two games.
Okay. Listen, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So we're on a date. That's all we get.
Okay.
I'll black us out when I think we're there.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Hey, Franklin, I was really impressed by that project that your new project at work you forwarded to me. Thanks for letting me read it. You're really good at what you do.
One morning, I found an elephant in my pajamas.
Yeah, and kids' books. The project you sent me about the elephants in your pajamas, I think it's brilliant. I think kids will relate to elephants. They think they're fun. So as a children's author, if you're asking me, I say, Franklin, just keep doing it. You got a knack.
This next part is crucial and requires deep concentration.
Okay, we do need to order because we've probably been sitting here too long and they're getting upset at the restaurant. Yes, let's focus on the main course. You're right. Let's order.
Would you like your cash in 10s or 20s?
Listen, I asked you on this date and I'm paying. I won't hear another thing, Michael / Franklin. I won't hear another thing, Franklin, about it.
Let's all just take a moment to breathe, please.
Good idea. Oh, first dates are so nerve-wracking. I'm sorry, Franklin. I'm just trying to be my best here.
Tom's one main ambition in life was to become a race car driver.
You really? Because you have such a knack at writing for children. I mean, if you're asking me, I think bail on the race car driving and stick with writing for kids.
How long was she on the run before they caught her?
Okay, now see that I did get that attachment as well, and you do have a flair for writing horror, and I love that title. So I couldn't read it all though because I was running late to meet you tonight.
Do you like the name Puddles or Velociraptor for my new puppy?
I know, that's cute. You can name your kid, your puppy, anything you want, or your kid for that matter. But actually, this is just our first date, so I'm uncomfortable about talking about kids and even pet names. I think let's just slow down a little bit.
I think you'd be really happy in a job like that.
Are you asking for a blowjob? Because that's a weird way to put it. Just if you want that, we can discuss it. But I think that's too soon for that too.
Blackout.
Oh, we got dirty.
Oh yeah, that's always a fun way to end it.
We got a little
though.
dirty.
It's always a fun way to end it though.
Yeah.
That's
after all that big profound rant I had.
Yeah.
And then we ended with blowjob.
Well, the duality of mankind. It's good. It's good to show your range, right? That's why that director brought you in.
There you go.
Yeah,
that was my range.
That this stunning, multi-talented Renaissance chowder man director.
I swear to God, you got it in
8 times.
Got it
at this
in,
point.
didn't you? You got it in 8 times.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I never get it in enough.
What?
I
want to tell you this. I have enjoyed this with you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for coming on the podcast and playing, listing lots of things.
It's fun.
And for sharing just a little bit of your improv story.
I love it. I will say to any listener or viewer, if you're thinking about taking an improv class, do it. Find a good one, whether you live in LA or wherever you live. Find a good improv class and give it a shot. I think you'll find that you'll get a lot out of it. Yeah,
I agree. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
And never go to a soup house.
Not even once.
And never speak to Chowder Man.
Never.
But you can't speak to Michael Lee.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes. And, I think all that advice you just gave should be equally weighted.
Yep. We can edit all that out, right?
No. It stays in. It stays in. Well, thank you again to the incredibly talented, hilarious founder of Improv for the People, Matthew Moore, for coming on our show tonight. If you enjoyed this episode, we've got a ton more of Improv for the Podcast episodes up on all platforms. But if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd love if you could leave a rating or a review or jump on YouTube and leave us a comment sometime. We'd love to hear from you. But until then, we'll see you next time. Improv for the Podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.